So, this is obvious signs that these are the possible path and patterns of decision making and or correlations to magnetic fields and or memory and or airy leftover lingering stuff upon the air and or in the energies that linger upon, for example, someone's death, murder, and or passings. So it is an obvious sign that people breathe and people swallow air. So what is in the air is obviously what lingers around. So it is certain and obvious that what we see in the universe is already there. For example, myself, soul memory, and soul name being Jane, as John's ex-wife in location USA, somewhere in USA, in some world, some dimension, in the psych ward, obviously. And this is where it shows that Jane and John got murdered and perhaps tested on like psych patients are and have been tested on with countless medication and injections and hospital protocols and procedures. So this is an obvious sign that someone named Jessica is John's divine wife. So it is certain in the life path and patterns. These supposed gossip and rumors were that Zach had gotten with a Jessica, a name Jessica. And strangely, Jessica is John's divine wife, meaning I was John's wife as Jane. So this correlates and connects dots to as I was somehow in correlation with Zach. And including the obvious signs of sleeping dead, as in terms of no real dreams and or life while I'm asleep besides my thoughts perhaps talking. So it is an obvious sign that in the movie Beauty and the Beast, Belle had met Gaston, and Gaston had gone into her home. He had mentioned that he wanted to discuss her dreams. Meaning, in the air and in everything else, what lingers around is an obvious sign that, in correlations to the hospital recent visit of a recorded and or hugging situation element while he was talking to someone, obviously indicated and let me hear that what was in the past was an obvious sign that there was a bad situation that involved myself being pregnant and getting murdered in the bedroom in the same home with a guy named Jeffrey. So it is an obvious sign that in that movie, that film, Gaston wanted to discuss her dreams, and upon the time that I had placed the crystal and infinity star and love to infinity items, which are worshipping items and religious belief items that are created and is very real in the universe, such as statues and everything else, obviously show that I sleep with a guy named Jeffrey, similar feelings to Zach, in complete death for the both of us, meaning we are completely blocked. And what appeared over was some like casted witch voodoo stuff, as in terms of people were hopping over, people were inside, people were walking around while we were both laying asleep. And just how exactly is that really going on? As in terms of why? Which is symbolically similar to Egyptians transferring and going to Soulmate Planet as the first intelligence on this very planet, as in terms of a mummy wrap and transfer to another planet upon death. So these supposed computerized and or what seemed as some sort of wrapping but are actually people, which is considered life on the very cotton that is rolled and covered on people in the old Egyptian times, to wrap and transfer a soul to another planet into a new body. So this is an obvious sign that these supposed people that are all over me are symbolically like unwrapping a Christmas present. So the very reason why it is all over the air, it is obvious that everyone thinks out loud and or has an airhead, as in terms of if you ever bleach your hair blonde, if you ever had blonde hair, if you ever even saw yourself with blonde hair, then obviously perhaps you have supposedly, as someone had mentioned to me, an airhead. Meaning your thoughts are very loud and sometimes it's not. But perhaps it's very loud to the same species. So it's an obvious sign that when I met someone that was my species, he walked out and his thoughts were very loud and distinctible, as in terms of I could hear what he said without him speaking. Same with Jeffrey Quirce Beast, which is a guy named Jeffrey, blood type O, and Satan, blood type B. However, it is in the same group as in terms of no, negative, and or positive in the blood type. So when we're looking at the obvious signs of do you like sleeping, and when you wake up at different times or when you don't sleep, can you sense your frustrations? And I'm speaking about the majority of people, as in terms of do you feel agitated when someone wakes you up too early or too soon? Are you stuck in a conversation talking with your divine partner? And if you don't sleep for approximately 2 nights, do you feel and sense that someone is doing something somewhere else and you are getting sued? As in terms of health-wise and or physical and or emotional ways. So it is an obvious sign that when I don't sleep for approximately 2 nights, I literally feel like someone somewhere else is busy doing something and doesn't even know that they are actually concerned and are worried about me. And it's almost like someone is constantly enacting some sort of way to perhaps attack me, and or an obvious sign is to put me to sleep so they can speak to me instead. So it's an obvious sign that this guy feels similar to Zach, but is not Zach. And one night I did eat carrots and I did see a part of him, which is the innocent part of him, laying on my sofa watching television. as a person combined into a full individual person is an obvious sign that it is a part of a person's innocence. Which showed it attributes as a bunny part of a person. As his feet and everything enacted it as in a bunny way. As in the wrappings and everything, perhaps this bunny just hopped out. And is literally laying around my home daily and nightly doing whatever.